Hey guys, welcome to Team Buzzword's industry report website. As you can see, we focused on the German energy industry. This is our homepage with the definition of the industry and the German energy industry overview. And if you scroll down, then there's button links to the other main aspects of the website. So for the definition of the industry, the energy industry in general includes a lot more than just the production of energy, but the sale, fuel extraction, manufacturing, refining, distribution. And Germany is one of the major producers and consumers of energy throughout Europe and the world. However, this has also led to things like greenhouse gases and emissions hurting the environment throughout Germany. And this leads us into the Germany energy industry overview, which has been largely influenced by Energiewende, which directly translates to energy turnaround or energy transformation, which is a policy made by Germany, which includes plans to help the environment by phasing out nuclear power and coal power within the near future and replacing those with more renewable energy alternatives. So now moving on to the brief history and geography of the industry. The first real lucrative energy production method was coal mining in about 1890. And then following a lot of technological advancements in the future, after World War II, a lot of synthetic oils and chemical-based energy supplies were used for this industry. And this led to nuclear power plants being created, the first one being commissioned in 1961, and the first megawatt hour of nuclear power being created in 1966. And then following an oil embargo, resulting in oil prices quadrupling, a heavy investment was made in the nuclear power plant industry to heavily increase this. However, following the Chernobyl disaster, the country wanted to try to phase a little bit away from that because of the obvious safety issues. This led to the first major wind farm being made in the north of the country in 1983. And this was the first step into renewable energy for the German energy industry. And now in present day, the Energiewende is largely focused on creating better energy production for the environment. And this includes phasing out nuclear and coal energy production methods, like I mentioned before, and increasing the renewable energy methods such as wind, solar, biomass, etc. Now moving on to the geographic area of the industry. Today, the country has more than 800 electricity suppliers and nearly as many gas suppliers. And there's 4 total electricity suppliers that account for almost 80% of the market, as you'll see later. And lately, in light of the Fukushima nuclear reactor incident, the country, which has happened relatively recently, the country has been trying to phase out nuclear more and more in terms of a safety standpoint, not just an environmental standpoint. Now moving on to the major players, products, and their services. About 73% of the electricity is generated by 4 main companies, including EnBW, Amperon, GmbH, Tenety, and Ella. And then moving past electricity, there's also other sectors of electricity in the energy industry, in which many of the large players include Vattenfall, EnBW, E.ON, and the RWE Group. And a lot of these breakdowns can be seen on this page with these figures right here. And more into the renewable sources of energy, the major players include Siemens, Gamesa Renewable Energy SA, General Electric Company, and SunPower Corporation. Now moving on to the industry concerns, critical issues, and business challenges. As I've said many times before, many of the industry concerns are environmental concerns. For example, as you can see here, in terms of nuclear waste created by nuclear energy production, Germany is very high up on the list in the entire world in terms of production of nuclear waste, and that is very harmful to the environment and hazardous in general. And then in terms of business challenges, there's recently been a liquid lithium deposit found underneath a riverbed. However, this creates many business challenges and challenges in general because it requires horizontal drilling. And it's on top or on the bottom of a riverbed, which obviously there are many challenges in terms of that. However, within the future, Germany is expected to be one of the most, if not the most, prominent countries in terms of renewable energy production, at least in Europe, or if not the world. Now moving on to the financial outlook for the industry. In 2014, the renewable energy sector was subsidized to be approximately 24 billion euros. And it's expected to grow more and more with the renewable energy. Overall, the generation and distribution costs have remained relatively similar, and the main driver costs were linked to taxes and surcharges, including subsidies for renewable development. Now moving on to the legal and regulatory issues. So a lot of these legal and regulatory issues have been in terms of Energiewende and trying to create a more renewable energy production. And a lot of these can be seen in terms of the Renewable Energy Act, the Climate Protection Program, the Fuel Emissions Trading Act, the Building Energy Act, all of which are trying to force better environmental outcomes of these energy productions. Now, moving on to trends and opportunities. In general, the trend, as I've said many times before with Energiewende, the trend is more towards renewable energy and away from nuclear and coal because of these nuclear and coal phase outs and energy in terms of Energiewende. This movement towards renewable energy also creates many opportunities and business opportunities to jump into the renewable energy industry. As you can see here, energy production in Germany is set to become at least 80% green by mid-century. So like I said, there's many opportunities that will come in terms of joining this industry. And other opportunities as of late, there's been some cases of energy generation for private consumers. And that's even more opportunities for people to jump into the industry for private energy production. So now moving on to the industry forecast, the German energy industry is looking very positive for the future, and as of late has been doing very well. And some of this energy in the future includes the current increase in solar energy, as you can see right here, is a 25% increase in both rooftop and heating installations. And the same can be said for other types of renewable energies. There's been more and more production of that as the years go on. And on top of that, there's been a lot of technological progression in terms of 120 research institutes in Germany dedicated to green energy initiatives. This is very positive for the future of the German energy industry. Now moving on to the human resources and labor relations. In terms of just the renewable energy industry alone, there is about 284,000 jobs alone. And that includes wind energy, solid biomass, biogas, solar, and liquid biofuels. And with these jobs, there's types of positions such as engineers, technicians, sales and business positions, stuff like that. So it's a very wide range. And in terms of labor relations, there's been a lot of disagreement and issues in terms of many unions for different types of energy in terms of the nuclear phase out, in terms of how it should be done, how quickly it should be done, when it should be done, in order to prevent the loss of jobs, in order to encourage the creation of new jobs. So there's been a lot of different disparity in terms of opinions from different labor unions and labor relations. Now moving on to the environmental safety and ethical issues. The main safety and ethical issues for this are part of the nuclear energy sector in terms of all of the disasters that have happened in the past, such as the Middletown, Pennsylvania, the 3 Mile Island disaster, the Chernobyl disaster, and even the Fukushima disaster, which all raise safety questions and even ethical questions in terms of, is this safe, and why are we continuing to do this in lieu of all these disasters that keep happening about every 25 years. And then, of course, there's also many environmental issues with the types of non-renewable energy. Again, with nuclear, there's tons and tons of nuclear waste that is created from the production of nuclear energy. And, all of the emissions that I've mentioned before that have been created from these is very negative on the environment, and it's something that has been a big point of Energiewende to reduce and make better for the environment. Now that's our website, and as you can see, there's all of these websites that you can also visit yourself on this last page here of our German energy industry website. If you have any other questions, please feel free to message me on Elms. Thank you very much for watching.